Cranmore, and it was a beautiful day. The pictures are still here in color and in great shape. Mount Washington was in the background. We had a wonderful day. On the way there, Jim had an old Ford that was very, very noisy. My brother and I were sitting in the back seat. All of a sudden, we started to get this rubber smell. And the next thing we knew, the floor was getting real hot, and there were fumes coming out. He had a hole in his exhaust that was spewing right onto the floorboards, and so we said, Jim, we got a problem back here. Oh, yeah. He pulls over, gets a bunch of snow, covers the floor with snow, and off we go. And he said, if it melts, we can get some more. So Jim's approach to maintenance wasn't very different even in those days. Thelma and Jim moved west. I went to college and I was working in upstate New York, and I decided that, this skiing thing may be something I'm interested in. And so I told Thelma and Jim I bought a pair of skis and boots and all the stuff. And immediately I get these home movies from Thelma and Jim. And Jim said, these are all the things you need to do, Herb, before you actually get on a lift. And it was all of these sidestepping and climbing and kick turns and all of this sort of stuff all over again. But I did it and it worked. I mean, I basically learned to ski from home movies that Thelma and Jim had sent me. And I haven't done a lot of kick turns in my life, but every time I have, I've been facing a rock, a cliff, or something where I had one chance to get turned around and get out of there, and I thank Jim every time I've ever had to do it. So that's that story. I was stationed in Europe in the military, and Jim came over and skied with Sally and myself, and that was the first time we really did any serious skiing together. Thelma and Jim spent the whole winter over there traveling around in this little camper that actually probably made the one in the back of pickup truck look good. I mean, it was really basic, but they had a great time. We moved to California, and in 1987, Sally and I bought a little ski cabin up in the Tahoe area. Well, we had that place and another place up there for 30 years, and Thelma and Jim came up most years for a month, 2 months, stayed with us, and we skied together. And those were some of the best times of our lives. Our relationship grew, we had a ball. My kids grew up skiing with Thelma and Jim. My grandkids will remember skiing with Thelma and Jim. Jim had that special touch with kids that has been alluded to, and they were just wonderful times. Somebody once told me that you should try to have a good time every day, because when you're sitting in the home alone, you want to have some good things to remember. And we had a lot of good times. It was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. Went on for 30 years, but 2 years ago, Jim started slowing down a little bit. I started chasing him with with just a smartphone and taking some pictures, and he was still skiing well. Last year, Jim started having more breathing problems. He could still ski because skiing was like walking to Jim. I mean, it was just something he did. But he started having more breathing problems, and we knew that things were drawing to an end. One day I was riding the lift with Jim, and he said, Herb, he said, I got you started, and you're here with me, and it looks like I'm about finished. And he was, but it was just so sweet. And it was 60 years after we had spent that day in New Hampshire, so long ago. So I'm just thankful to have had Thelma and Jim in my life. I love you both dearly. I want to express on behalf of the family our appreciation to everybody here for the love and concern you've shown for Thelma and Jim, and for your expression of it by being here today. Thank you very much. Give me honors.
Does anybody else want to have a Jim start? Connie. Aren't you glad I had him move into the neighborhood? Aren't you glad I had Jim move to the neighborhood? Our neighbor.
It's a privilege to be here to give my blessing to have known Jim, and always Thelma. I wasn't a professional skier, but am a barefoot tennis shoe water skier. So luckily, Jim being in the neighborhood, he was very encouraging, and there wasn't a time go by that I didn't call him and ask him, can you give me a pull? Because I was right on the lake, right by his house. That he didn't say sure, or Thelma would go, Jim, Connie's on the phone, you know. But my husband and my son are about the only other ones, and they know barefooting and really any other skiing, if it's not safe, it's not fun. So I have this thing of before I get the handle and get out there on the rope, whoever's driving the boat or in the boat, I say, what do you say? And they go, have a safe run. So with Jim driving, I said, what do you say, Jim? And he says, well, I'm going to say Kalor Taksidi, which I guess means have a safe run in Greek. So for many, many years, you know, I'd get that hand on it. He'd say Kalor Taksidi. So what I'm just trying to say is my final Kalor Taksidi to my good, good friend Jim.
Very good.